Hello and welcome to Dig This, a podcast by the Quarry. Got a very special series that we're starting up in association with Guernsey Arts, where we're going behind the scenes of the art scene in Guernsey. And my very first guest up here in the Greenhouse Gallery, Etienne Marquis.
Hello.
Etienne, you've had this exhibition on, opened a few weeks ago, didn't it?
Yes, yeah, it's been on for about 2-3 weeks now.
Yeah, so what's the reaction been like?
Really incredible, like quite overwhelming actually. There's just, the opening alone, like seeing so many people who have contributed to the exhibition, like friends, family, people who have modelled for figures in the paintings. It was kind of like amazing to kind of thank them all, but then also to have them all in that one space to kind of like appreciate the hard work that went into it.
It's incredible, and it's incredible being in here as well with the atmosphere that the whole setup creates. I was like hoping you could dive back a little bit into your background and your artistic background and the journey you've been on up to this point. So where did it all start out for you?
So I never really thought I would be doing art until I dropped out of my business course at the college and then started doing a art and design course at the college, now the Institute, or the Guernsey Institute. And then after that, I went over to university, and I basically just kind of stuck to the practice of oil painting. So 3 years of that, learning so much. I studied under Nina Royale as a painting assistant. She's a local Cornish artist. And now I've come back and this is my first big project.
What is it that drew you into oil painting as well? Isn't it?
I'm quite methodical about the way I kind of approach life. I like to have a very structured order to everything. And with oil painting, it's a long process, but you can kind of break it into chunks. So you've got kind of building the canvas, priming it, mixing your paints, and it's also kind of, you can pick a path that you want to go down and you do it in a way, because there's different mediums that affect the opacity or transparency of your paints. I work from a limited color palette, so those are colors that I've specifically chosen and felt drawn to create my work. So it's very individualized and kind of custom to you, which I really like.
And your style, if it's seen reference to it, it's contemporary surrealism and some sort of sense of the masters as well. How do you get to that point?
So I kind of started off with inspirations from classical academic pieces, a lot of old masters styles. But then I kind of wanted to incorporate those aesthetics into stories of contemporary life, things that happen in my life, things that happen around me. And then that kind of they kind of blended together into this weird amalgamation of kind of warped realism in a way, which I really like.
Let's have a little look at the show that's on in the Greenhouse Gallery. It's called The Bleeding Veil. I'm just reading off of that. It's great. I've got cue. Take me through the background, because we've got portraits, we've got sort of more folk kind of inspired work. So how did this come about?
So I a lot of my work is kind of opposites that kind of meet together. So we've got stories from real life, but then also folk tales. And then we've got imagery that's kind of historical, reminiscent of historical iconography, but then that's interpreted through people of the now, real people that exist today, and landmarks that exist today. So all the pieces in this, these are all places around Guernsey, and they have historical memory and reverence, but they're kind of this is the way they look in contemporary, in the now, if you know what I mean.
And let's look at this triptych that's behind us, and if you're listening, there'll be some pictures on the website so that you can see it a bit more. But can you take us through just each element and what story you're trying to tell?
Yeah. So basically, this was my first big project, and it's coming back from university. The first month I got back, I basically started poring over every single published material on folklore I could get my hands on. So it was a big project, and I have like a huge bibliography of stuff. But the main four I kind of narrowed it down to was The Mermaids of Petit-Bobet, which is the one just behind me right here. Then I've got The Dance of the Fairies at the top, which is at the Table de Pion, or the Fairy Ring. The Sorcerer's Sabbath at Le Trépaillé Dolmen, and then the story of Belle Isabeau at Plymouth. So they're all kind of, they're very different, but they're, I kind of wanted, they all like are connected under the kind of umbrella of folklore, which I really like. So I wanted like, even though they're completely like different vibes, I wanted to squish them together and show the versatility of Guernsey's folklore. In terms of like the actual stories, so it's kind of ranging a quite big historical gap. So it kind of starts with the fairies, the fairies and Belle Isabeau. So these are kind of stories that are ingrained in the actual geography of the landscape. With the fairies, they're said to have created a lot of the structures around Guernsey, such as like the dolmens, the fairy rings, all that type of stuff. And then with Belle Isabeau, that's about a formation of stones at the cliff's base that kind of have like humanoid shapes. So that's where the story of Belle Isabeau came from. And then later on, when Guernsey started establishing more of a connection with the mainland through shipping and trade, stories of mermaids started coming in. So the main story I'm referencing here is Mermaids of Petit-Bobet, which was referenced in Guernsey folklore by Sir Edgar McCulloch. And then later on, with the kind of mass introduction of Christianity to the island, came stories of witches and devils. And it said they kind of took over the fairies' homes of like the dolmens, which drove the fairies eventually to suicide. And that's kind of what I'm interpreting there, like the ghosts of the fairies haunting their scorned homes.
What was it that drew you into the folk memory of Guernsey, particularly, do you think?
I've always enjoyed it when I was younger. Like my mum used to take us on walks around Guernsey to like all the historical landmarks, and she'd tell us stories about it. And I kind of like forgot about it and didn't really think about it. But after coming back to Guernsey, I kind of saw it through, I guess, the eye of a tourist, because I was away for so long and I just wanted to re-experience it. And so I started visiting these old sites, and then that got me interested in wanting to explore the stories more, like find where they came from. And then that eventually brought me to this body of work here.
And in terms of creating it, do you go out onto site a lot? Are you painting in the studio? What's that process?
So for references, I take those on site. So all of these are like taken from, like, not painted from life, but references taken from life. And then I collect all my references, I kind of scatter them across my walls, then I create my sketches. Well, basically, the process, I start with my sketches. I wake up at 3 a.m. and just jot down some weird shapes that I think are gonna look good. And then I go to the locations, take the photos, bring them back to my studio, print them out, sketch onto the canvas that I've made, and then start painting. So it was a very like long process, kind of like step by step, but that's how I got to it.
That's cool. And like just moving around the gallery a bit, it's a really striking picture painting out on the left-hand side there. Could you describe it? You'll describe it way better than I can.
Yeah, so that is a painting called Boy of Kernow. That was done also after I got back from university. It's of my partner, James Kitts. He's a puppeteer, so you might recognize the puppet in the painting. So the context behind it, I kind of wanted to create this idea of a decomposing symbolism. So he's from Cornwall, which has housing crisis quite similar to our own, where young people can't really afford to live in the homes that they were raised. And I've kind of represented that through the symbolism of pirates and Cornish piracy, with the feathery friend that's decomposing on his arm. So it's kind of like a mournful, like, lament to the loss of that piracy freedom in a way. It's kind of growing up in a capitalist society.
And I guess so. There's influence there from because you studied in Falmouth as
I
well,
did,
isn't
yes.
it? So do you feel like you bring those two cultures together at times as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think my body of work is always inspired from where I am currently. So I kind of bring those perspectives of where I've been with me. I always like to kind of collect stories or references from anywhere I go and bring it into my work. Like I've got a trip to France coming up soon, and I want to start collecting pigments from each of our stops, so I can kind of create a painting series using the pigments from the landscapes or the places that I visited to kind of interpret that trip, which I'm quite excited about.
And you've got you mentioned earlier when we were chatting off camera, off air, I don't know. That you've got quite a lot of work ongoing as well. This isn't the full stop to your
Yeah,
summer.
it's kind of just a never-ending cycle. I do love it, but yeah, it's keeping me busy. So after this show here, I'm currently working up to another show in France, which will last until mid-August-ish, and then I'm back and then working on commissions. Although I should be free towards the end of the year.
Have a break. It's great to hear, like, you know, how busy you are, but also like I think it's an example of that the arts can give you a career as
Yeah,
well. You know.
definitely. I mean, I am still kind of a starting out artist. A lot, even local artists, kind of have to rely on other income sources in order to create their art, even like the most established ones. So it's kind like I'm currently working at the museum, and I also have the exhibition here. And so it's kind of tricky balancing both. Like I'll finish working here, go home, do painting. On my off days, I'm painting. So it gets to the point where I'll just spend months not even going outside. But it's a tricky, but it's a dedication. It pays off, hopefully.
I mean, in one of our last podcasts, we spoke to Rebecca Booth from Guernsey Arts and talking about the creative industry. Like, how important is the role of Guernsey Arts?
It's incredibly important. Like, I mean, really, without them, I wouldn't have a voice as I do in the Guernsey art scene. Like, they kind of introduced me to that world through the Guernsey Arts Open at the George Crossing Gallery, which was kind of my introduction to the Guernsey art scene. And then after that, it was Seafront Sundays, another exhibition at the George Crossing. We had the Liberation 80 here, a postcard exhibition here, and now this one. So it's kind of like without them, yeah, I don't know. It's incredible the work they do, and they're so dedicated to helping, which I really appreciate.
If you look to the future a little bit now, what would success look like for you? Maybe in 5 years' time, 10 years' time.
Honestly, like I'm not incredibly ambitious in the way of popularity. I kind of like painting as a comfort of mine. It makes me happy. Like it calms me. It's kind of like a meditative thing. So the lifelong goal is just to have a little cabin and just to be painting in that in obscurity. Maybe creating some pieces that I sell around the world, but other than that, I'll just be happy painting.
And do you ever see yourself moving away from oils as well? Is it like
Possibly. I mean, I've given myself like turpentine poisoning enough to consider which medium I'm doing. But at the moment, I feel like I want to kind of perfect the work that I'm in right now, because I am a perfectionist in the way that I want to learn absolutely everything about the process, and then I can move on. And with oils, it feels like there's just so much to, like, I'm constantly learning new things, like new techniques, new ways of working. So maybe once I decide that I've created the perfect painting, then I'll move on to something else. But who knows?
Sounds like, I guess, there's such a rich history to delve back into and learn from.
Yeah, I mean, like like I've only been painting for, what was it, like five years now, and I've learned so much, but there's still so much left. So at the moment, I'm kind of sticking to the journey of oil paints.
Just like one final question about today's exhibition. If someone visiting the gallery, is there one piece you would like them to spend more time with, reflect on, and what insight could you give them?
Honestly, I think it is the triptych here. Like, when I was speaking to people at the opening, everybody had a different favorite painting, and they kind of like saw something in it that they loved. And I think that's kind of what I really wanted to do with the variety of the way I've painted everything, like to have somebody like connect and enjoy it. And that's always like really lovely to see. Like I have my favorite, I'm not gonna say which one it is. But yeah, like listening to people describe what they like about it, what they see in it, that's kind of like the biggest joy I have as a painter. It's like feeling seen in your work. So if you do come to the gallery, definitely take a look at the triptych. Send me a message, let me know which one's your favorite. And yeah, tell me why. It's always nice hearing people's thoughts on my work, so I appreciate it.
Etienne, that's great. Thanks so much for your time and for taking us through the show. It's been great.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning into this podcast. If you've got all this way, I'm really hoping that you've enjoyed our work. There's a few things you can do though to support us. Follow, like, subscribe, share, whatever you can do to help spread the word of the Quarry. The other thing you can do is head on over to our website, where you can become a member and really support independent local news.